Am I the one who called the police right away when my sister's family broke into my new house using a stolen spare key? Hello Reddit, I'm 27 years old, and I feel like I've spent most of my life under my older sister Anna, 30 years old, who has always been the favorite, the smart, gregarious one, and able to charm her way out of any situation. In the meantime, I've been called the irresponsible one, which in my family simply means the one who does all the work, but gets no credit. Growing up, I always had the best of everything, and her birthdays were lavish garden celebrations complete with bounce castles and pony rides, and mine was a pizza party in the dining room with a cake from the big separation happened when I started college. I had worked hard in high school, balancing AP classes and extracurricular activities to maintain a high GPA. I was admitted to a local university and thought I had a great plan. I'd commute from home to save on dorm fees. Anna had attended her dream school, and my parents had funded everything, so I figured they'd benefit me too. Grocery store bakery, Anna got the Barbie dream house for Christmas, while I got a secondhand counterfeit with the missing elevator. Her parents would simply say, "You don't need all that fancy stuff." I was 18 and getting ready to start college when they started talking about me paying rent, which turned out to be $400 per month for rent and electricity, plus my personal groceries. That may not seem like much unless you're a broke college student working part-time at a bookstore for $9 per hour. My mother looked at me as if I had just suggested that we move to Mars. "If you're staying here, you'll need to contribute." She added casually that Anna got a full ride from us because she deserved it. "You need to learn responsibility." Had to worry about money at school. Mom Sim just shrugged and said, "You're different, you're independent, you'll figure it out." So I did, working as many hours as I could at the bookstore and occasionally skipping meals to make ends meet. Every morning, I would walk past the campus coffee shop, jealous of the students who could buy lattes and pastries, while I brown-bagged PB&J sandwiches and drank free coffee from the bookstore break room. I never bought a textbook at full price. Everything was used or borrowed from the library. Every month, I gave my parents the $400 I had while Anna was away at her out-of-state school, living in a brand new dorm that my parents had purchased because she once complained to me about her dorm's air conditioner not being cold enough, and I nearly lost it. I didn't have air conditioning in my car because I couldn't afford to fix it. My parents kept sending Anna money every month, and I once heard my mom say on the phone that we don't want her to struggle. College is hard enough, so I stood in the kitchen with my $1 ramen noodles and wondered why I never received any of that support. To make things worse, my parents kept complimenting Anna's achievements, and she received a 3. They threw her an extravagant graduation celebration, and she had a 2 GPA in her communications department, along with a DJ and a prepared luncheon after I received a 3.9 and a computer science degree. We had a quiet dinner at home, and my mother made lasagna. "Well, we would rather not make a fuss," she said. Looking back, I think what hurt the most was not that I didn't have any money, but rather that I was always portrayed as the star with potential, while I was just there. Even when I succeeded, it was ignored because Kate was smart and didn't need help. They would say that being capable was a curse. After college, I moved out as soon as possible, renting a small apartment close to my first job, and I worked hard, lived frugally, and started saving money. Meanwhile, Anna married Josh, who is 32 million, and my parents adore him although he changes jobs a lot. They have 3 kids, Sophia, who is 5F, Lucas, who is 4M, and baby Noel, who is 2M. My parents are always helping them out when their car broke down last year, so they gave them money to buy a new one. When Anna complained about how hard it was to keep up with 3 kids, Mom and Dad offered to watch them on the weekends. I wish it didn't bother me anymore, but it still does. No matter how much I do on my own, it seems like I'll always come second to Anna, which is why I don't share many details about my life with my family. I know they wouldn't mind, so I've been keeping this quiet, but I recently decided it was time to start searching for a house. I had been renting this small apartment for years, paying a lot of money for what was basically a glorified shoebox, and I had been saving for what seemed like forever. Finally, I thought, you know what? I deserve it. The reason I didn't tell my family isn't because it's a big secret, but rather because I knew they would start making it about Anna if I mentioned anything. I'm not sure how this happened, but a woman I work with, let's call her Lisa, managed to let it slip. She is one of those people who always wants to know what you're doing, and I think she casually mentioned to someone that I was searching for a house. That person just so happened to be Anna's neighbor. From there, the news spread like wildfire, the delights of small-town Texas. A few days later, my mother called me Kate, and she said in an overly happy tone, "Why didn't you tell us you're searching for a house?" I should have known better, but I decided to play dumb. Oh, I'm just looking around right now. Nothing serious. Anna and I have been talking, and we have some great IDE ideas for you. I could feel the dread creeping in. You're going to need something big enough for everyone, including the kids. Of course, I asked about the kids, and she went on as if this were the most common thing in the world. You'll need space for us and for Anna's family when they visit, and I would appreciate it if they were close to Anna's house. I'm not sure why I was surprised, but she had already made my potential home the answer to their problems. I said something non-committal and hung up. Phoned as soon as I could, thinking it would be a one-time thing. But my mom and Anna started sending me listings for houses, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that it became a part-time job for them. Every day I would get at least a dozen links to ridiculous houses, big houses with 4 or 5 bedrooms, pools, 3-car garages, and the works. It was like they thought I was searching for a reality TV mansion. One day, Mom texted, "Did you see that one on Maple Street? It's a giant one, just perfect." Another time, Anna sent me an email with a link to a 6-bedroom property, saying this would be so suitable for us, finally having space to spread out across the United States. I stared at it was exhausting at first, so I tried to gently lead them away by telling them that I was only shopping for something modest for myself, but that only made things worse. That's when I decided to stop responding, silence the group chat, and ignore their messages. I wondered for a good minute how my property purchase had turned into a collaborative endeavor, and the worst part was that they weren't even pretending it was about me. Every place they suggested was geared toward Anna's family. Josh could turn it into his man cave, and the kids would love the pool. After weeks of searching, I finally found a small 2-bedroom cottage just outside of the city. It had everything I wanted, including a sunny kitchen, a nice little porch, and a lawn big enough for a garden. It wasn't elegant, but as soon as I walked through the door, I knew it was mine. I submitted an offer, and after a few anxious days, it was approved. In the meantime, I continued searching for houses on my own. I spent my weekends looking at open houses and my evenings reading Zillow, and didn't tell anyone where I was going so they wouldn't tell my mother. I cannot even begin to describe how wonderful it felt to be doing something for myself for the first time in my life, without anyone else's influence. Of course, I kept my family in the dark and let them continue to offer helpful advice while I moved forward in silence. But then my mother called me out of the blue and said, "We're having dinner next weekend. You're coming, right?" I almost said no, but then I thought, let's get this over with. I'm going for this dinner, and I already know what it will be like. They'll probably have a full PowerPoint presentation prepared. Now for the exciting part. I'm going to reveal that I've already bought a house. First and foremost, I would like to thank everyone who left comments and advice on my previous article. I promised to update you after dinner, so buckle up because there was a lot. If you want to put it simply, I can already hear theatrical gasps and complaints. Thank you for staying. As soon as I walked in, there was chaos. The kids were yelling. Josh was sitting on the couch watching TV, and my mother was occupied with something. I was psychologically ready for whatever trash they were going to throw at me. I knew where this was going, but I played along, nodding sympathetically while focusing on my lasagna. Then my mother cleared her throat in the way she did before making an announcement, and Kate responded with a huge smile. "We've come a long way." "Oh good, you're on time for once. We are off to a good start, right?" she said as we sat down for supper. The conversation started with the typical small talk, with Dad complaining about gas prices, Josh about something at work, and Anna about how hard it was to manage 3 children. "Noah keeps waking up in the middle of the night," she explained, scooping mashed potatoes onto her plate. "We're just so cramped I feel like I'm going crazy. We've been talking, and we think we found the perfect house for you." I nearly choked on my water, but of course they came with a plan. "Oh," I asked in the most neutral tone possible, and Anna said, "It's a beautiful place, and it's only a few blocks from us. It has 5 bedrooms, a giant yard for the kids, and even a guest suite." Mom interrupted me before I could say anything. "It's perfect for everyone, with enough space for the kids to finally have their rooms, and Josh could even set up an office." I just stared at them, perplexed, and they stopped acting like it was about me. "I've already bought a house," I replied, setting down my fork. The room fell silent, and even the kids stopped making noise. Mom's voice was harsh as she said, "I bought a house," and I repeated that it was a small 2-bedroom cottage just outside the city. For a brief moment, I wondered if they would be happy for me. Mom's face turned red, and Anna's mouth practically fell to the floor. "A cottage?" Anna finally asked in a tone full of skepticism. "How are we supposed to fit in a cottage?" "You're not." Mom intervened before Anna could respond. "How could you make such a big decision without consulting us? We've been working so hard to find the perfect place for you." "No," I said, trying to keep my cool. "You've been working hard to find the perfect place for Anna and her family. I didn't need your help. I knew what I wanted, and I bought it." Anna's voice became very high-pitched, as if she were going to cry, "But we need this, Kate. Do you know how difficult it is for us in that small apartment? The kids have to share a room, and Noah's crib is in our bedroom. It's unfair to them." I took a deep breath. hoping not to lose it. When Dad decided to join in, he smashed his hand on the table. "You're being selfish, Kate. What's wrong with you?" I stood up, my heart pounding. "I'm not selfish. I'm finally standing up for myself. And if that makes me the bad guy in your eyes, then so be it." The place erupted into chaos. Anna was crying, and Mom was ranting about how she had raised me better. Dad was complaining about how unhappy he was, Josh said, and he sat there stuffing food into his mouth as if nothing was happening. I grabbed my handbag and went to the door, and Mom followed me crying. "You can't just walk away from your family like this." I turned around and screamed, "Watch me." I then got into my car and drove home shivering with anger and relief. Things have gotten out of hand in unexpected ways, and both my mother and Anna have gone on full social media attack mode. Anna posted pictures of her kids crammed into their bunk bed with comments like, "All they want is a little space to grow, but I guess some people think family isn't worth helping anymore." People who didn't know the full circumstances left comments like, "How could anyone be so heartless?" To make things worse, someone probably saw these posts, and now half of my office is talking about how I abandoned my family. I'm trying to keep a positive attitude and focus on my work, but it's getting harder and harder. Things have taken an unexpected turn, but I'm sure I made the right decision. This house is mine, and I won't back down. Thank you so much for all of your help. You have no idea how much it has meant. I've been reading through your comments, and wow, you guys didn't hold back. Many of you expressed surprise at how entitled my family sounds, and believe me, I share your sentiments. Others shared their experiences with similar situations, and it's comforting to know I'm not alone in this. I prefer Cherry and the most fake smile I've ever seen. "Hello, Kate. I thought I'd stop by and see how you're doing," she said, as if she hadn't been among the people on social media who had been attacking me for weeks. Against my better judgment, I let her in. She put the pie on the counter and looked around my house as if she were taking inventory. I wanted to apologize. She started off with a voice full of fake sweetness. Things got a little heated, and I realized that we were wrong to push you like that. Her tone didn't sit well with me, and she went on to talk for a long time about how happy she was with me and how the stress of there was the real reason for her visit. After she left, I couldn't get rid of the feeling that something was wrong. Later that night, I realized what was bothering me. She had spent an unusual amount of time checking my locks and asking about my relocation timeline. My suspicions were confirmed when I got home from work today and found my spare key missing, the one I had accidentally left on. Anna's condition had caused everyone to act out, but that wasn't an excuse. She added, but with a sad, almost pleading expression, "I thought maybe we could have a fresh start." My phone vibrated on the kitchen counter while my mother was visiting, and as I was processing this, I received a text from my next-door neighbor. "Hey, I noticed some folks trying to peep into your windows last night. It looked like a couple with children. Is everything okay?" I immediately called the locksmith to replace all of the locks, and I'll also install security cameras first thing tomorrow morning. I'm shocked that they would go this low, but I'm also not surprised that I've stopped returning calls and texts from members of my family. Mom's apology was clearly just a reconnaissance operation, and I'm done giving them the benefit of the doubt. But the unsettling thing is that I believe they won't stop. I'm currently documenting every text message, voicemail, and suspicious incident because my gut tells me I'll need this record soon. I'll keep you updated if anything else happens. Reddit, thank you for all of your support. It's really helpful to have people confirm that I'm not crazy for demanding fundamental boundaries. Hello Reddit, I never imagined I'd be posting this update, but what happened today has left me completely distraught, and I'm still trying to digest everything. I went out this morning to do some simple things like grocery shopping and picking up a package from the post office. But when I got home at noon, I noticed something strange. Anna's SUV was parked right in front of my house. I went to the door, fumbling with my keys, and heard voices inside Anna. Josh and the kids were at my place. The atmosphere inside was pure chaos, so AITA and Lucas were sprawled on my couch, surrounded by toys and munchies. Noah was toddling around my living room. Josh was in the kitchen riffling my refrigerator, and Anna was in the sunroom moving my furniture around like she was on HGTV. I took out my phone and dialed 911 seriously, and Anna replied in a voice full of incredulity, "Are you calling the cops on your family? Watch me." Anna looked up unaffected. "Oh, Kate, we figured it'd be easier to just move in while you were out." I looked at her, trying to understand what she had just said. "Move in. Mom gave us the key," she explained, nodding to the kitchen counter. "Your home is ideal for us, and your home could have been bigger if you'd listened to us." To argue that this was not a true break-in because we were family, the officers refused to have it. They told them that they were trespassing and that they had to leave right away. Anna started crying, saying that she didn't realize it was such a big deal, and Josh muttered something about me being selfish as they packed away their belongings, including the goodies they had stolen from my cupboard. After they left, one of the officers came up to me and asked if I wanted to file charges. I thought about it for a while before deciding against it, but ultimately decided against it as long as they stayed off my property. The officer nodded, saying that they would file a report if anything more happened. Locks once more, and tomorrow I'll have a security system installed. I've also hired a lawyer to draft an official cease and desist letter to give to my parents, Anna and Josh. The letter outlines everything they've done and states that I will not think twice about taking legal action if they continue to harass me. I still find it hard to believe my own sister thought this was appropriate, and my mother gave them the key. I'll keep you informed if anything else occurs, but maybe this is the last straw. I'd like to start by thanking everyone who has, after all of your support and comments. I feel like I owe you a final report on the matter. I mean final because I have officially cut off all ties with my family. First, there were the guilt-inducing phone calls. My aunt, who barely knew I existed growing up, left a voicemail saying, "How can you do this to your sister? Family must stick together." Next, my parents started a smear campaign in our town. Mom posted pictures of my house on Facebook, and I'm not sure how she got them, with the sentiments, "It's so sad when someone forgets where they come from." I was in a meeting when our receptionist called to report that my sister was crying in the lobby and making a loud noise. By the time I got there, half of my coworkers had gathered to watch Anna theatrically explain how I was leaving her children homeless. I pulled her aside and told her to leave, and she responded by letting the kids run around the office while shouting that I had plenty of space, but was too selfish to share security. And this is how they repay you. Those who didn't know the full situation left comments accusing me of being ungrateful and selfish. The last straw came yesterday when my parents scheduled an intervention at their house, telling my grandmother that I was having a mental breakdown and needed family support. When I refused to go, they tried to have a local preacher come to my house to teach me about my family responsibilities. After speaking with my lawyer, I took serious legal action, applying for a restraining order against Anna and Josh, citing all of their harassment and the break-in. My lawyer also sent legal and desist letters to my parents regarding their social media presence. Post and harassment, I've put in place a complete security system with cameras and motion sensors, changed my phone number and email address, which I only share with trusted friends at work, and set strict privacy settings on all of my social media accounts, banning not only my family, but also their friends and anyone else who might provide them information. The strangest part of it all is that they still seem to think they're right. My mother sent me one last email before I banned her, saying that I was breaking her heart and that she had raised me better than this. She still doesn't understand that this isn't about being cruel or self-centered, but about setting basic boundaries and self-respect. But you know what? For the first time in my life, I truly feel free. My house is exactly how I want it. I've started a garden in my backyard, something I've always wanted to do, but never had the space for. I'm making friends with my neighbors who don't report back to my family, and I even adopted a cat that sleeps in my sunny window. She is also free to share her space with anyone she wants to. And last weekend I had a small housewarming party with some of my coworkers. We sipped wine and cheese on my charming little porch, and nobody mentioned that I needed more space or questioned my life choices. People may read this and think I'm cold-hearted for severing my ties to my family, but after 27 years of being viewed as a backup plan, an ATM, and the solution to everyone else's problems, I'm finally putting myself first and realizing that family is more than just blood. It's about respecting boundaries and that helping one another out can be the healthiest thing you can do. What about the house that started all of this drama? It's become my haven, and every morning I wake up in my house decorated the way I want it, with no one else's expectations to meet but mine own. And I know I made the right choice. I appreciate all of the Reddit users who have helped me along the way. Your advice, comments, and shared experiences have been invaluable. When I was doubting myself, you helped me realize that I wasn't alone in demanding basic boundaries. To those who are currently dealing with similar familial issues, stay strong, and you deserve to live your life on your own terms. I probably won't be updating my tale anymore, partly because I've cut off all communication with my family, and partly because I'm ready to move on with my life. But I'll still be on Reddit, possibly helping others who are in similar situations. Thank you all again. Your support meant more than you can ever know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click the notify bell to receive updates on more startling true tales taking place all around you.